So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And I've kind of called this session, great, I've got this info, now what? Just so you know, on Friday, Darcy and I are going to be doing a session on Google Forms. And really, that's a great way to get the information into the sheet. I know it seems kind of backwards, but we thought we'd go with sheets first before forms so that you feel more comfortable with what you get from forms. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to start off with find and replace. So find and replace is great because sometimes you have a sheet which has a bunch of stuff in it for, say, grade, for this school year, and you need to change it over to next school year. Okay. You can also, let's say that you have a sheet of data that has information about a certain person, and that person changed their name. They got married or they changed their name, whatever it is. You can actually go through, do a control F. This is very similar to docs as well, where you can find all the instances of whatever, string of letters, numbers you're looking for, and you can go ahead and replace it with all the other ones. I am not actually going to show you how to do this because it's really pretty clear right here. So basically control F is your best friend. You can also use that to find things in really big sheets. So control F, that's a good one to know. Okay, so selecting in sheets. So I am going to show you this because this is a really big one. And so I talk about different ways of selecting sheets. This also works with, or selecting columns, selecting rows. This works with a few things. Just so you know, at the end of this slide deck, there is a practice worksheet that you are welcome to use. When you open it up, it comes to this right here where it says copy document. You want to say make a copy. This is called forced copy. And it's because I didn't want you to have to open up my sheet, get confused because it's not, you can't make any changes to it, and then have to do file, make a copy. Just so you know, that's also another way to do it, but I wanted to make it easy on you. So you're going to click on make a copy. So I'm going to talk about selecting. Of course, this is so slow. Every time. Okay. So here we go. This is real data. And this is something that I am sharing with you that you can go ahead and make changes to all you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my little tricks on selecting things. So the first trick I want to show you is if you want to select the whole sheet, there is a rectangle between A and 1. So here's A. Remember that columns are letters, rows are numbers. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that rectangle between A and 1. And you know what happens? It's select all. What? Okay, there's no clicking and dragging. You just go ahead and you click on that rectangle. All right, that's great. Let's say I wanted to select columns C through E. Pretty simple. I can just go ahead and click. And I want to make sure, though, that it doesn't become the hand. Click, because if it becomes, oh, it's doing it anyway. I'm clicking and dragging. The hand is fine, apparently. They keep changing things. So clicking and dragging, C, D, E. Great. I have now selected C, D, and E. And you just said, you were like, okay, what's up with the hand? Well, right now, if I use this hand, I have selected these three, and I click and I hold, and the hand grabs, I can go ahead and drag these over. Do you see the dark line? Okay, it's going to go wherever the dark line is. Because I don't really care about this right now, I'm just going to go ahead and drop it and watch what happens. Boom. Okay, CDE just became FGH, right? So I can click and I can do the same thing with rows. So keep that in mind. Everything I'm going to show you right now, you can do the same thing with rows. Okay, let's say I want to select rows B through K. Now I can do that whole clicking and dragging thing, or I can click on B, hold down the shift key on my keyboard and click on K, and it selects the whole bunch of them. Okay, the whole column all the way down. If I want to, what I call skip select, let's say I want to select B, D, F, and H. I click on B, I hold down the Control key, I click on D, I click on F, I click on H. There you go. I've selected those 4. Okay, so that's skip select. All right, next. I know I'm jamming. There's a lot of things here. Okay, I'm gonna close this one. All right. Okay, so I've talked about selecting. Okay, version history. So this is super useful, especially if you're collaborating with folks, because someone might go in and make a change that, oops, maybe they erase the whole thing. This has happened to me, people. I don't know if you've heard my story. This happened years ago, but it could still happen to you, where the whole thing disappeared. I arrived at work. I was on time. There were a million emails and voicemails. That big, whatever table that I was working on, it was gone. All the sheets were gone. Everything, all the information was gone. So I was able to do version history. Now there are 2 ways of doing version history, and I'm just going to say, I'm not going to show you this right now because this is something that you can do in docs, you can do in slides, you can do basically in everything, okay, where you can look at the different versions. So you can do it through Drive, or you can also do it through Sheets. So either way, right, you can do it from Drive, from whatever it is, whatever document it is. But basically what's great is you can go ahead and see all the different versions. You can see all the different people who are in there, all the different changes that they made, and you can revert back to an older version. So in the story that I told you where everything disappeared, I was just able to go in, look at the version history. I was able to see at what point everything disappeared and who made it disappear. So I was able to do 2 things. I was able to bring it back, right, because I reverted to an older version. And I was also able to call that person and tell them not to do that again. Okay, so there's that. So that's version history. It is not a problem, right, if things disappear. Please don't freak out about that ever, because you can always bring it back. This is the great thing about Google Sheets. I don't think it's like that with Excel. And I'm going to say again, I know people say to me all the time, you can't do all the things in Sheets, and you can't do all the things in Excel that you can do in Sheets, or no, other way around. It's too early in the morning. So people are often saying, well, I can do way more things in Excel than I can in Sheets. However, I want to share with you that the people who are doing all those fancy things in Excel that are not available in Sheets are those heavy duty financial people who are doing fancy, and scientists who are doing fancy schmancy data crunching. Okay. Excel and Sheets both have so many things that we never use. We don't use 100% of our brain capacity, nor do we use 100% of our lung capacity. It is the same with Sheets. Okay, we don't use 100% of all the things that are there. So I'm going to tell you that probably for what you need, Sheets is probably fine. It will work for you. If you're going to get really, really hardcore, go ahead and use Excel, get into that data access, which is also a Microsoft product, and that's for data. But really, I think Sheets will probably do it for you. Okay, protecting and hiding ranges or sheets. Why would you ever want to do this? Well, if you're collaborating, there are times that you don't want folks to mess with your stuff, certain parts of your stuff. And what's really great too is that you can set up warnings for those people who you're working with. So I am going to show you this because this is very interesting. Okay, so right now I cannot hide my sheet. Do you know why? Because I only have one sheet. If you look down at the bottom, there is one tab down here, very important, bottom left-hand corner, it says evaluations. There's only one tab. So I can't hide it because there's only one tab. If I hide it, if you were to open this, there would be nothing. Okay, so I cannot hide it. If I have another sheet, I can. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to show you how to protect a range of cells. So let's say that I have a range of cells that has a bunch of fancy functions that I put together and I made them work, and I don't want anyone to mess with them because I worked really hard to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to give you an example. I'm going to select a range of cells. Okay. And I am going to right click on them. Remember, right clicking gives you another menu a lot of times. Just try it. You're not going to hurt anything. So I'm right clicking and I'm going to go to protect range. What's going to come up on the right? You see on the right, I got a whole other nice little menu. I'm going to enter a description. So let's say that I have some special functions in here that I don't want anyone to mess with. So I'm just going to put functions. Okay, fine. This tells me exactly what it is. It's C5 through H7. I'm going to go ahead and set the permissions. So click on set permissions. And now I'm going to tell it, okay, either anyone editing this range, I can show them a warning, right? If I click here, it will show a warning when people try to edit that. Well, actually, I don't really want anyone to edit that range at all. So they can look at it, right? They can look at what's in there, but I don't want them to edit it. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to restrict who can edit this range. What's great about this is only I can do that, right? If I had other people, this is not a sheet that's shared with other people, but I could do custom and I could add the editors' names. Okay. So, and it could be you are sharing a Google Sheet with 10 people and you only want that range to be edited by yourself and 3 other people. Fine. You can go ahead and do that, which is really great. Or like I said, you can show the warning when editing this range. This is not a security feature. I know it seems like it, but just always remember, you should only be sharing things with people, even to view, right, with the people that you trust. So just keep that in mind. Keep that all in mind. All right, so I'm going to close this up. So I'm not actually going to do that. Okay, so actually it's there and it says, you know, it tells me everything, and you can put in different ranges for different things to protect them. So I'm just going to show you very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to talk about all this stuff in just a second because I want to show you what it looks like if I want to protect an entire sheet or hide it. If I hide it, it truly hides it. There is no tab that says there's a hidden sheet here. Okay, you actually have to go to view hidden sheets, right? So there are several things that have to happen. But if I want to protect this sheet, again, I get the same thing in the right-hand corner, right? With the same information. And then if I were to protect this whole sheet, done, you will see that there is a nice little lock on the right. Now I'm going to show you what happens when I hide it. I'm right clicking on it, hide sheet. Now look what happens, gone. But I get this nice little warning over on the side that says use the view menu to unhide the sheet. Okay, so if I want to unhide the sheet, view, hidden sheets. It tells me how many sheets are hidden. That's nice. I'm going to go ahead and click on the one that I want to open up again. All right. Okay, next. Alternating colors. I love this, especially if you have a sheet with a lot of stuff in it and you just want to alternate the colors to make it look a little bit nicer. This is one of those things that pretties it up, makes it easier to use. All right, so let me go into my example, close this up. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and go up to format, alternating colors. This is different from conditional formatting. Alternating colors is just for looks, okay? It doesn't do anything else. Conditional formatting, you can actually use to sort by color. Alternating colors, you can't do that. Literally, just for looks. Okay, I'm going to click on alternating colors. It selects the whole thing, and I get some choices of colors. I can also customize it. So if I want, you know, the header to be red and color 1 to be blue and color 2 to be yellow, I can do that. I can go ahead and set that up. And I'm going to click on this. Looks good. Okay, done. See how nice that is? And it will always, so let's say I want to drag this row. Oops. I want to click on this row and drag it up here to be row 4. It keeps the alternating colors. I don't know if you remember, but that one was green, and I dragged it, but it became white because it continues to have the alternating colors. Again, Alternating colors is for looks only. Please remember that. It will not work with sorting things by color, okay, which I'm going to go over in just a second. Okay, tabs. This is actually really important. If you have a lot of tabs, and when we talk about forms, we'll talk about the fact that you can take, maybe let's say you have 3 different forms that are related to each other. You can make it so that those 3 forms all go into one Google spreadsheet book, right? So that each form would dump into a different tab. So that's super useful. I use that all the time. But let's say I've got these 2 tabs here, okay? And I want to show you the different things that you can do. You can either click on this tab, on this little arrow here, which is next to the name of the tab, or you can just right click on it. If you want to change the name of the tab, you can just double click on it and change the name. That's it. Okay, that's the fast, easy way for renaming, because a lot of times when you create a form, it just says like form responses and it has the name of the form. Maybe you want to change that name, right? Because that's kind of long. So again, you can either click on the little arrow or you can right click. I'm going to go ahead and click on the little arrow and I get a whole new menu, right? So I can delete, I can duplicate. Now, when you duplicate, it makes a copy of that sheet right next to it. Okay, it just kind of dumps a new duplicate right next to it. So if I click on duplicate, I get the duplicate right next to that original sheet. Okay. Why would you want to do that? Oh, trust me, you'll figure out a place for that, place and time to do that. Just remember that you can do it from here. If you do copy to, you can copy that whole tab, that whole sheet to a whole other spreadsheet, or it can become a tab in an existing spreadsheet. Why would you want to do that? Trust me, when you get started, when you get into using sheets all the time, you're going to figure this out. You're going to go, oh yeah, I remember Laurie told me this is what I should do. That exactly. So copy to is fantastic. Okay, it's really great. Rename, I just went over. It's a lot faster to just double click on the name. Now you can change the color of your tabs. So let's say you have a spreadsheet that has 5 different tabs or 10 different tabs. 2 of them are for grading, 2 of them are for something else, and 2 of them for something else. And you want to kind of, you can go ahead and drag those tabs, they're next to each other, or you can change their colors, or you can do both. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take this evals 2. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to drag it over next to evaluations. Okay. And I want them both to be green. So I'm going to click on the little arrow, change color, and I want it to be this particular color of green. Now it doesn't color the whole tab. It just puts a nice little colored line underneath it. Works great. No problem. I'm going to do that with this one too. I want this color. Okay, great. Also from that menu, you can protect the sheet, hide the sheet. If there are any comments, you can view them. Right now, I don't have any comments in here. So, and that view comments is not the greatest. It's super helpful though, if you're not sure like where the heck the comment is, you know it's there. That will show up as black, not gray, if there are comments. So that's kind of helpful, because sometimes comments get really lost in Google Sheets sometimes. This is a great way to find them. Also, you can go ahead and move. Now I showed you, you can click on a tab and drag it around as much as you want. Or you can just use this move right, move left. Of course, it's only going to go one tab over, right? So my Google decided to talk to me all of a sudden. So strange. Okay. Here we go. Checking on time, 9:22. There aren't any questions because I am going way too fast. I know I'm not. I know I am. Sorry about that. Okay. That's why this is being recorded. All right. So we also have checkboxes. This is really useful if you have a Google Sheet that you're using, in some way to check things off, right? It used to be I had to go and put little boxes into these, but now these are actually real check boxes that actually work. So let me show you how to do that really quickly. So I'm going to move over and look for, I am at the end here. I'm going to go ahead and add a row. So I'm going to right click on the header, which is the letter, and I'm going to put in insert one right. Okay, here it is. And I'm going to go ahead and insert checkboxes. So I'm just going to select this whole thing for now. And I'm going to click on insert checkbox. Boom, checkboxes. Just remember, insert checkbox. But you have to select where you want it to go first. So if I only selected one cell, it's only going to put it in that one cell. Okay, so and these are actually useful. I can actually use these just like real checkboxes. Super helpful. Up here, it doesn't matter. I can go ahead and change this to checkboxes. Okay. And then in terms of sorting, I believe, I don't remember, they do work for sorting as well. So if you put a check next to someone's name for something and you want to sort for the ones who have done it, it will work. So let's just see how this works really quickly. Click here, and I'm going to do sort sheet A to Z, and let's see. Oh, the empty ones come up first because an empty checkbox is equal to no. A checkbox that's been clicked on and has a check is equal to a yes. Just keep that in mind, right? That's alphabetical order, no to yes. Okay, next. I know, I'm just jamming around here. In cell dropdown list. This is awesome. It is really useful. Let's say that you need to categorize some things so that you can group them all together. So let me give you an example. So here we have, let's say I want to look through and I want to look at all these numbers here, right? 4, 4, 4, great presentation. This is all very positive, right? This was on a scale of 0 to 5. And so if you see a 4 or 5, that's really good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert a column to the right. See, I get that messed up too. No big deal. Okay, so I'm going to insert one right. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this whole row or column. See, I did it again. It's too early in the morning. I'm going to hit data. I'm going to go down to data validation. I think that's what it is. Yep. Okay. So first thing, it's telling me where this data validation is going to go. Okay. Now I'm going to put in drop-down boxes. So I am going to do a list of items. Okay. Show drop-down list in cell. Great. Now I'm going to enter my items here. So I'm just going to say great, comma, good, okay, meh. No, I'm just going to say bad, whatever. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to categorize all of these. So I'm going to click on save. Now I get this nice little arrow here. So I'm looking and I go, oh, 4, a 4, a 4. You know what? I'm going to say that that's good. Okay. Let's see, 4, 4, 4. I'm going to say that's good. 3, 5, 3. I'm going to say that's good. Okay. Do you see what I'm doing here? All I did was I created this nice little drop down box that I can use to categorize things. So then I can go ahead and sort those. So let's say I'm going to go, this is a great one. This is also great. Okay. So on and so forth. I'm looking for one that doesn't look so good. And I'm going to put bad. All right. So I've done that. We're going to use this in just a second. Okay, I'm going back. So that's in cell drop-down list. Again, why would you want to do that? Is that if you're going through data and you want to go ahead and categorize it in some way. Okay, filters. So if you're sharing a sheet with people and you put a filter on there, it's going to show up for everyone. So just keep that in mind. I have had folks call me about things. Okay, I don't see everything else. Where did everything go? It's because there's a filter on there. So let me just show you really quickly. All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a filter on this column right here. So you can select the columns that you want the filters to be on. Actually, I'm going to select this whole thing and I'm going to just click on the filter up here, which looks like a, what do you call this? Funnel. Looks like a funnel. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create filter. And what it does is it puts these 3 little lines at the header, right? On the header row. This is called the header row here. So I'm going to go ahead and I just want to see on this one, I just want to see all the 5s. So I'm going to click here and it gives me a list of all the different answers that are here. So I'm actually going to click on clear for now because I don't want these and I want to scroll down and click on 5. Okay. Now I only see the 5s. Okay. So now at this point, I can go ahead and sort as I want to, but I'm only going to be sorting for the things that are 5s in that particular column. So that's very quickly, that's filters. It can get super fancy. I can also click here and say that I also want to see the 4s, 5s and the 4s, because they're both pretty good. So now I see the 5s and the 4s. I can sort that so that I see the 5s on top and the 4s below, right? There's the 5s and there's the 4s down below. Wow, there are a lot of 5s. That's awesome. Darcy's smiling because she's like, yeah, okay. So let me go back here. All right. There are all kinds of things you can do. You can also filter by color. If you've done conditional formatting so that all the 5s are green and all the 4s are a different color and all the 3s are a different color, I can go ahead and filter by color. Again, that does not work when you do alternating colors. Alternating colors is just for looks. Okay, functions. This is when we get fancy, right? You can go ahead and put sums in. You can put averages in. You can do things called count ifs. So in that one column where I have 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s, I can say, okay, count how many 5s there are. Count how many 4s there are, right? Those kinds of things. Those are functions. So it's functions because those are actually set up within the program. Google Sheets has a ton of functions. If you're looking for a specific function, I suggest that you Google it, right? I've done this before where I just Google, this is what I want to do in Google Sheets, and it will tell me, here's your function. I actually have a list of favorite functions. It's like, I know, so nerdy. It's awesome though. I love it. I'm not going to talk about this right now because I want to give us the specific time. So this talks about functions as well. I use functions to create something called a summary sheet. So if I'm getting a whole bunch of data and they ask me, okay, can you write something up for the principal's bulletin? Well, I want to go ahead and create a summary sheet and then share that summary sheet out so people can look at it. So, you know, it'll do things like it would take in that particular example, it would take, okay, we got this many people who said 5, we got this many people who said 4, or, you know, of all the people who said 5s and 4s, right? Which session did they go to? All of the, you know, I can get all that information from that. Okay. I know you're probably like, oh my gosh. Also with Google Sheets, you can create charts and graphs. Put a picture of pie here because the pie chart is probably the most popular kind of chart. I will tell you though, pie charts don't always work the way you want them to. You can go ahead and change that around using Google Sheets. There's a lot of information about this. Again, you're going to have to just hang on a second, right? Okay, here we go. I'm not playing that video. No. Okay. I have a couple of favorite add-ons. I use Autocrat and Power Tools. Autocrat is really great for doing what's similar to a mail merge. It is not perfect. It's more like it will take the information and it will send someone like a doc or a slide or something to give them their information. The information won't be in the email itself, okay? But you can set it up so it's like it's very similar to a mail merge and it works great. I've been using it for a while. I love it. Okay, so we're not doing this right now. I am going to give you a poll. Let me see. Must find polls. Here we go. Polls. All right, so I'm going to launch this poll, and we only have, it's 9:33 already. I know I maybe have 15 minutes left with you. What should we go in depth with today? So I've opened up this sheet, this poll. Go ahead and answer. You only get to pick one. Do you want to go over filters and sorting? Do you want to go more in depth with functions and summary sheets, more in depth with mail merge, more in depth with creating charts and graphs, or something else? Please put your suggestion in the chat. Go. I hope everyone's out. Great. Okay, here we go. Oh, interesting. I'm going to wait until we have a critical mass here. Except I have to say, oh, interesting. Okay. See, I can watch this whole thing and you can't see it. All right, I'm going to wait for maybe a couple more votes. So if you haven't voted, do that now because I'm going to turn it off in just a second. All right. So very interesting. This group wants something completely different than the last group. Very interesting. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and end the polling. Share the results. So it looks like you're mostly interested in mail merge using Autocrat. All right, so this is going to take longer than 15 minutes, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And I'm going to go ahead. Now, let me think. I got to figure out. Oh, I'm just going to use this. Okay, so this is an add-on. What does that mean? That means that I have to add it on. It's not automatic. And it doesn't cost anything. Autocrat is free. I'm going to show you quickly how to add on an add-on. Up at the top, right, with the menu, you're going to click on add-ons. And I already have a lot of add-ons. Don't freak out, please. I know I have kind of a problem. But you click on get add-ons and it opens up a box that will then show you the different add-ons that are available. What you want to do when you do this is you're just going to go in search apps and you're going to put in Autocrat. There it is. Click on Autocrat. And your box is going to say add-on or add. Mine will not show that. And this is taking too long. So, here we go. So here it is. It already says installed. For you, you're going to go ahead and let's see. Mine will say uninstall. There's a way that you can install it. You'll get oh no, don't uninstall. I did not mean to click on that. Okay. Sheets add-on. Okay. No, so you're just going to go ahead and install it. So right now I already have that. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. So I'm going to click on add-ons, Autocrat, and I'm going to launch it. Now it's going to take me through some questions. I will be honest. I kind of ignore some of the questions. Give it a second. Because what it does is it adds some stuff on itself. So I don't have any merge jobs set up yet. So I'm going to click on new job. I'm going to give it a name. Please be as specific as humanly possible. Okay, now this is very interesting. You can create a template. And what I tend to do usually is I create a template first before I open up Autocrat. But I'm just going to, let's see. I can choose Google Slides, whatever from Drive, blah, 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 blah. But I always put in some kind of template. So let's see, I already have a bunch. So here's a 100% certificate. I'm going to look at it first because I don't even remember what it looks like. Great. Okay. So there's an example. Oh, fantastic. Oh, and it's got a GIF. Love it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. Oops, wrong thing. So I'm going to click on use. Now it's fetching my tags. So I'm going to talk about tags for a second. So tags, let's see. Okay, it fetched my tags and now I can see that this is what I'm using. And it says currently selected template underneath. So I'm going to click on next. Okay. So tags, this is how tags work. And it's really important that you get this correct because it could be a total hot mess if you don't. So for instance, all these things up here in the header row, timestamp, your role, bracket, I increase my skills, period, slash, and I'm reading that like that because it's really important that you get this right. I can create all these as tags, which means, okay, I'm telling the program, you're going to look in this space with this tag for this information. Okay. So right now what I'm going to do is, so I'm merging this tab. This is the tab that I'm using. Yes, correct. The header row is this here. The first data row is this here. Okay. So, and that just automatically does that. I hope you don't have anything, if you have something a little different and crazy, you're going to have to think that one through. So all I have right now is first name as a tag. Now, the problem with that is I don't have one, right? That says, I don't have one up here that says first name. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. So that means actually I have to go and change the certificate itself, or I can just say where it says first name, I'd like to map it to your role, the your role column. Okay, great. Now, I only had one tag in here. You can have multiple tags. So it could be that you are creating a letter, right, that has name and address and phone number and email address, and you want to put that in there. You can go ahead and do that. But I really suggest that you set up the template first, right? Set up the template the way you want it to, put in your tags. You must absolutely. So for instance, the tag for your role would be that double bracket. And I don't know, it looks like a less than, I guess that would be a less than. Your role with the capital the way it is, with the colon the way it is, right? Very important that you have it look exactly the same. And oftentimes what I do when I create templates is I copy and paste, right? So it looks exactly the same. And then you close the brackets, right? This is super important. You have to understand this or it's not going to work. Right now, though, I'm just going to roll with this one because, like I said, we don't have much time left. So I've done that. I'm going to click on next, right? Now, it's going to create, so for instance, it's going to create a new one for every single row, right? Even though some of these rows have the same name in them, we're not going to worry about that right now. So I need to give it a file name. Okay, so I'm going to click on example for sheets session. I'm going to be as this is, and then it's going to give it a number or I can put a tag after. So let's say I'm going to put the tag and I'm going to put your role. So what it's going to do is it's going to give this it's going to show that cute little thing with the 100%. You got 100% on the quiz. And instead of a person's name, it's going to have that role. So I'm going to show you that. Just hold on just a second. I'm going to click on next now because I want to do multiple output mode. Just stick with that. That means one per row. Keep that in mind. Next. I want to choose where I want it to go. So I'm going to choose a folder, connects to my drive. And I'm going to go, let's see. Here we go. I want it to go in here. And I'm going to, there's nothing in there right now. I don't want to mess that up. Cancel. Nope. Back to Google Drive. I want this actually, because it's going to make me crazy. Name. List view. Okay. I'm just going to pick this because this is super old and I don't really care about it. So, but Also, again, this is another thing that you need to prepare ahead of time is you need to make sure you create a folder. Okay. Create that folder where you want this stuff to go, because it might be a lot of stuff. In this case, it is going to be a lot of stuff. So I'm going to click on select. Great. Next. I don't know what this is. I don't mess with this. I just click next. Okay. Merge condition. This is where I could say, okay, I only want it if in row C it has a 5. That was a lot of things, but you can add a condition here. Generally, I don't. That this, you're going to have to work this one out. This is a lot of stuff as well. So do I want to share the docs and send emails? In this case, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to click on next because I'm not going to share these. I'm just going to create these and then I'm going to print them out and I'm going to give them to someone. Oh, this is interesting. I've been signed out. Huh. Now I'm hoping that all my autocrat stuff is there. Great. Okay. Well, try again. Like I said, this is one of those things where it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of you're not going to get it right the first time you do it. I'm just going to tell you right now. It takes a lot of trying things out and doing it over and over again until you get what you want. The nice thing is that you can just create it. It's all on a computer. It's not like you're printing a bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm remembering the old days printing things that just did not work out well and wasting a lot of paper. Don't print things until they are exactly the way you want them to be. Save the trees. All right, I'm going to go back in and see what happens when I go into Autocrat because I'm hoping it saved it. It did. It saved. I think it saved at least part of it. Fingers crossed. Loading. Hopefully it'll come up with the example. No. Okay. Okay. So that was a good lesson. You should be clicking on save as you go. I did not click on save. I did not expect that to happen. We get lazy because we're so used to, things saving for us automatically. So, okay, it is 9:45. I am not going to go. I'm telling you that Autocrat thing it's a lot, but Autocrat has tutorials that can help you out. It's a free tool, but it's great. I love it. It works great. Again, if you're going to set it up where you have a sheet that has email addresses and you want to send something out, you can do that. That's not a problem. In fact, it works really well. I do that all the time. But you have to just make sure that you're sending and sharing the document. Okay, so that was where we stopped and where this went completely. So